I grew up here in Alaska. My parents brought me here when I was 9 months old. I made my living here as a wilderness guide for about 20 years, and then I worked construction for a few years, and then I went into teaching private music lessons, because my big loves in life are music, the outdoors, and when I teach, I get to teach kids. That's who I am, sort of. Well, you're sitting in my tiny house, which is sitting on a piece of property that I have on the outskirts of Anchorage. That's an acre. This tiny house is a house that I built with the help of Bartlett High School students. I had a friend who was teaching shop at Bartlett, and I told him about my idea to build a tiny house, and he was like, oh, that'd be a great project for my students, you know. It was towards the end of the semester, so I got the trailer and brought it to the shop, and we got materials, and the kids were able to build kind of the first story. And then the semester ended, and so we took it up to a friend's house nearby where I could park it, and finished it up there. My tiny house is a reflection of lots of really great friends' ideas, friends who contributed ideas that I think are really innovative, and I'm proud to show them off and say the names of the people who thought it up. Some friends named Ian Moore and Jen Jolliffe came up with the idea of a folding awning that would fold down so the house could still be street legal. The porch, another friend, Paul Wonecke, helped me build in 3 sections, and I can hang that off the back side of the house under the eaves and put the 3 posts inside and travel with the whole thing being street legal. And when I first moved up here, I thought the winds up here are like over 100 miles an hour sometimes, and I thought, oh man, that awning's never going to survive. I'm going to have to take it up and down every time there's a big windstorm, and it's a pretty heavy awning for one person to handle. And it didn't turn out to be the case. These 100-mile-an-hour winds come through here and they go right under the awning, no problem. And the actual awning design was another friend of mine, Dave Mortensen, who came up with the idea of this plumbing pipe all the way through and swinging down like that. And I just love it. I love, you know, the sun comes through the clear roof there. I spend a lot of time out on the porch doing one thing or another, or just sitting in the hammock enjoying the day or playing music. This is an electric bear fence. I lived here for 6 years with no bear problems at all, and then this year I had a brown bear on my porch about 4 weeks ago trying to get into my freezer, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I got down and scared it off, went out and bought an electric fence. Everything that I hear is they're supposed to be really effective. I haven't had the bear come back, so I feel like my food is secure now. For the skirting of the house, I hired a couple guys who specialize in skirting mobile homes in Anchorage, and they just did a superb job. You know, I got the same materials that I built the house from, and they built this skirt all the way around the outside. Did a beautiful job, as you can see. So on the back of the house, there's eye bolts all the way along that the deck can hang off of. Initially, this roof line wasn't there, and there was some leakage in one of the windows from the much smaller roof that you see above, and so we put on this secondary roof to get extra protection for the windows, and haven't had any leakage since, and then that provides a nice space for the deck to hang. This is the site for my the house that I will build. What I've squared off here is about a 20 by 20 2-story, so that'd be about 800 to 1,000 square feet. So do you want to come inside? Okay. This was built so I'd have lots of head space. I'm 6'7", The heights of the tiny house in Alaska allowed, for me to build it big enough for me. And I have a little office right here and a window where I look out on the woods. And then a window seat right here where I often sit down and take in some more woods while I might be reading or eating or something like that. I have my musical instruments on the walls. And then in this end I have my kitchen. I built tall counters for a tall guy. And I have a sink I can put a bucket down there to catch water. I'm not using it. I'm not really running water through the sink right now, but I have a crock that I can make water run out of into the sink and then down into a bucket. But I seem to be able to cook, just fine without that setup. A little storage space above. Places that I have hitchhiked in the last 10 years. Yeah, actually, I did a hitchhiking trip in New England probably about 10 years ago, and people said they hadn't seen a hitchhiker in 20 years there. And then my mother was in the Palmer Pioneer Home for a few years, and I used to hitchhike up to Palmer to see her. I had a car and I could drive, but I just didn't like using the fuel to drive one person up to Palmer. So hitchhiking's always been wonderful. I always got interesting rides with, interesting people. That's a wealth of clothing and shoes right there. That's mostly, what I need day to day, and not more. And then I have a little bookshelf behind you with my books and tapes and so forth, and tools stored under my window seat, papers and so forth stored in my little office space there. And then up above I have a ladder. I got this idea from some friends. When I was working construction, I helped build a friend's house just down the road who had did you call it a ship's ladder? And I liked that, so I thought, I'll do that. And that leads up into my loft where I sleep. And my loft space has enough room for me to sit up, and I just sleep up there. I don't do much else up there, but it's a really comfortable space. I also like that when I come in the front door, I have all this overhead room. It's like vaulted ceilings. I don't like to feel claustrophobic, and I feel very spacious in this. When I take you out and show you my porch, you'll see that, when I step out on the porch, I'm right there in the, with this beautiful surrounding of birch trees and mountains and everything. So and I take my hammock and hang it out on the porch, when I want to just take it all in. Yeah, it's so comfortable, really comfortable. And, I see the trees and the sun coming through the trees and the property back there, the dragonflies flitting around in the sunlight, and the birds flying about, and it's very nice. I just love coming home to this tiny house every day. For one, this is a real beautiful setting. I've got an acre of wooded property, and there's animals coming through, and the mountains are here, and the light in the sky. It's beautiful every night. And actually my tiny house makes it all much more intimate. If I was in a big house, I might not look out the windows that much. I might be looking at stuff in the house all the time. But with this tiny house, the windows are everywhere. They're all around me, and it's like I'm always seeing the changing seasons and the changing sky. I have a lot of nights when I walk out on the porch, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And so it's a very intimate life with the natural world around me to live here.
Hey guys, it's Alexis.
And Christian.
Thank you very much for watching our video.
Yes, and subscribing to our channel.
And don't forget to check out more tiny house stories.
And tours.
Oh, and don't forget to join us on Patreon.
And again, don't forget to subscribe.
See you next time.
Take it easy, guys.